First thing we have to say, I know you don't like to hear it, but it's still summer, and the markets are still thin. We're grasping for a theme to trade. There's a lot of disposable capital out there. And again, the 20s, 30s, and 40s are exerting their influence. So that being said, AMC, it's a $23 billion market cap company, but yet in the last 2 quarters, they lost $560 million and $340 million. On the balance sheet this year, they have $11 billion of assets, but 12.7 of liability. So we have about $1.4 billion in total shareholder equity. They've raised a bunch of money, about at $1.25 billion. But the thing is, Kelly, they've diluted the stock. 1 year ago in September, they had 100 million shares. Now there's 500 million, 5x. So they've diluted each shareholder's value. So the percent of the float short, it was 75% back in that early 2020. Now it's only 16%. So the short covering rally, that fuel that's required to push us higher from shorts is gone. The new longs are going to really need to come in. On the studio side, in terms of names coming out, the major studios, Netflix and Disney, are releasing titles to the theaters, but they're also releasing on their own streaming services. So there's a barrier there. If you want to trade it, technically it looks good. Trade it with options. Be very careful. I don't own it. I won't invest in it. This is a very high-flying, scary name that investors, I don't think, should be playing with. Only very nimble traders.
All right, let's move on to GameStop, which is the next one. It might be making a comeback, so they say, to the S&P 500. That's what the Wall Street Journal reports, that it could be added back during a rebalancing later this year. Market cap meets the minimum requirements, 3 times as valuable as the smallest stock in the index. What do you think of this one, Todd?
This is a little bit better, Tyler. There is some value in this company. I don't know how they're planning to reinvent themselves in terms of a competitive online retailer. I still haven't seen any concrete plans. They're reporting earnings next week. There's no real news, as I mentioned. This is a thin August move up in a very liquid environment. Just like AMC, the percent of outstanding float that was short went from 300%. Remember, there was more outstanding shorts than actually stock available. It went from 300%. Now it's only 17%. So that short squeeze juice that people have been drinking has been drunk. New longs only. The company has not diluted their shares, unlike AMC. They've raised about $1.5 billion in cash. They've cleaned up the balance sheet. They actually have positive shareholder equity. I think they have about $2.5 billion in assets, 1.7 in liabilities. The value of their real estate holdings, yes, they have rent, but also the values have gone up, which has kind of gone up with the real estate boom. Their enterprise value is massive. I think 2.6 times forward revenues and the enterprise value compared to the other industry names that are about 1. So I'm not bullish. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Tyler.
Quick question before we move on to the next one, and that is, how much would re-entering the S&P 500 help this stock?
I'd certainly give it a boost. It's almost like maybe we're getting a pre-stock split run, like a couple other names. I certainly think it would give it some validation, but at some point, I think Jim Cramer did a really nice job talking about the fundamentals not mattering just a couple days ago. At some point, they will. Listen, video game studios, why do they have to go through a middleman like GameStop to release their titles when you can just log on, stream it? It's not unlike DoorDash sort of losing some restaurant customers, because restaurants are now just letting you order the food from their own website. So I think there's just too much possibility for dilution, for competition. Again, I wouldn't hold this stock.
Got it.
Todd, what do you think about support.com? This is a stock that's down 50% or so from its short squeeze high.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. So it provides customer and technical support solutions through remote workforce. They outsource customer support, tech platforms to corporate clients. They got a big boost on this reverse merger that they just announced with Greenridge Generation Holdings. They call themselves the first carbon neutral Bitcoin miner. So it's just turned into a Bitcoin play. The short interest is massive. Last readings, the latest I could find from August 13th show that 2/3 of the outstanding float are short. So maybe there's more juice, short squeeze juice to go there. But again, these are not investable. It's August. It's thin. We've seen this from 2000 tech, the tech bubble. We've seen this in various names over the last 20 years. This is not a new phenomenon. Again, it's the 20s, 30s, and 40-year-olds with income who are exerting their influence on the economy. I respect it. But there's so many other investable names that are driving this tech bull market forward. Please don't get caught up in it.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.